Okay, we're back and working with Godot. Today, let me show you what I got. And move these guys out of the way and fly them around. So I got a thing up here which tells you the score, how much health you have, and whether or not your shield's available. Right now they're null because I haven't used them yet. I'll have to fix that. But let's say I want them on. They're on. Boom, boom, boom. So notice the score didn't change, because I didn't add any scoring for that, because I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that. But I do add the scoring working for the shields. I also had to move the boundaries for the enemies and the player. And I also changed the code for controlling the player, so it's a little quicker to get moving and change directions. So I'll show you what I did. One thing I forgot to talk about there. Here, let me show you. This wanted a custom font, and so what did I do? I made my own font. Why did I do that? Because why not? I made all the other graphics and everything else. Yeah, they're not the greatest things in the world, but they're mine. So, how did I make my own font? Let's get started with that. What I did is I created downloaded it, installed FontForge. That's under graphics. Here's FontForge. And it opens up like this under mine. So you can then click New, and it pops up this. It's not very intuitive, so you might want to read a few things. But the key kicker here is that I basically said I need to work with just these top characters. I'm not going to worry about these kinds of characters because I'm not going to be using those. And I didn't really plan this out a lot. I just threw it together. So just some quick things to cover. It's fairly easy. You double click on on this, which was supposed to be an exclamation point. You see right there. And then there's these other try to size it. So then you have your control things. And for the most part, I just used a few of these things. And after a while, once I figured out each one of these, you can hover over these and get different things. But to make an exclamation point, all I did really was just take this. And it turns out you want to draw the exterior of your characters in a clockwise action and the interior in a counterclockwise. So for an exclamation point, we start with one character, move there, move there, move there, and up here. And so if you look over here, we have the top part of an exclamation point. Oops, I just did that wrong. Anyway, you get the idea. You can draw that. Once you got that done, boom. And then you just keep moving on your way. Now let's say, here, let's take a D. And why does this keep popping up over there? So a D has an exterior and out and an interior. So we'll have to draw this. I'll just draw a D real quick clockwise. Oops. Bam. So now we have a filled in D. So now I have to go counterclockwise. So start here, try down there, and then just work my way around. Now, obviously, you're going to want to be able to make these really nice, and I threw mine together really quick, about as fast as I did each one of these characters. I did my whole set. So let me go ahead and start up the FontForge again. this going to work? And so here's what I threw together. And it took me a couple hours because you have to go through each one and say oops, 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 and then try to make. It took me a while to figure out how to actually flip characters and stuff like that. Then one thing that threw me off was this one right here, which is empty. It's a space, but I still had to go into it. It was when I generated the font itself. My spaces were the width of nothingness, so you need to go under metrics, set width, and in this case, mine was increment by 0, so I set the width. The first time it was, I think, defaulting to 1024. And so I tried that, and it's like way too wide, so I dropped it down to about 400, and that seems to be a lot better. And since this is really only using for labels on the scoreboard, it's not a big deal. So, let's see, go to the HUD. See, I added labels, right? Oh, here we go. I added my score label, my health label. There's score, health, and shields. And then, not a lot of code here because I wound up keeping track of everything in the game itself. And this really just goes out and processes it, grabs the value from the game score, the game health, and game shields ready, and just displays that. Very simple. I also added a color rectangle for the background, which should be the same color as the center of the player. Let's see. So into the game. So I added a string shields ready score. I already had a health, so I figured why not just add the others. Then really okay. Enemy. I attached the emitter to the enemy destroyed signal. Connected that to the game, and so now I know when the enemy's been destroyed by the emitter, it will up the score by 20. I have a problem trying to get the shields to work that way, because the shields work how the shields work is that the shield intersects with the enemy detects that it's hit a shield, and it tells itself to die, which means I don't have a way of sending that back to the game. I guess I could. Yeah, well, anyway, I'm not going to try to figure it out right now. I think I might have just come up with an idea how to do it, but I'm not sure. Well, that'll be something I'll work out later. Yeah, so I also, this is where the actual timer check to grab the laser score and update the score value. Oh yeah, in the player, I added an acceler variable, in this case 2, so I could set a value for the acceleration of the player. So when you start hitting the different keys right here, instead of just 1 here, it uses the acceleration. I also added or changed the position so when the player, instead of being bounded by 0 at the top, it would be bounded by 20. So that gives it a little, it was going off the screen a little bit anyway, but now it goes off the screen under the scoreboard. But you can, it's not half hidden anymore, so, or fully hidden anymore. What else did I do? And that basically is it. So when I added the you add your own custom font. You have to go in and do it again. Go under here, under your label itself. You have a place where you can put your tags. But then you just have to scroll down to custom fonts. So what I did is I just dropped the font right there that I generated into this folder, and then just really just point it here. So once you say point it to that, then you can set your size. Or you have to create a dynamic. You have to create a dynamic font. But in this case, it already knows it because I already set that. Then when you go into that dynamic font, you have to go in and set your font. So this is where you'd load in the font data, and that's where I was selecting the font that I created, and also set the size. So you can say it's pretty ugly, but it's I don't have to worry about what's the license for this font and stuff like that. So it helps. And so now I have a game that has enemies. My player moves a little better. And at this point, if I do add scoring for the shields, I'll probably set it up so that you want to try and avoid using shields so that you get a better score by killing the enemies. Of course, one of the tactics here is wait for one last one and then wait for your shields to get ready. Kill them out and then see if you can survive without using your shields, because then you can score higher. Oop. And it's not a bad idea to make sure you have your shields ready for starting a new level, because they can be right on top of you. My shields are ready at this point. I don't want to be moving too fast. Oop, I didn't need to put my shields on there. And just keep firing away. So next step would probably be to figure out if I'm going to be able to do the shield scoring. I think I might have an idea how to do that, but I'm going to have to get the enemy to tell me, or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's where I'm at now. Hopefully, I think I'm almost just about done. I think I have to decide what to do with shields, and then I'm going to call this, well, I'll play it for a bit and see if there's any really weird stuff happening. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and call this 1.0 and then find out where to post my code somewhere if people want to take a look at it. It's ugly, but considering I didn't know anything about Godot when I started this, I would approach things differently now. I would consider how I'm going to do the scores and health and all the stuff. You're going to keep track of that. That I should have, instead of working my way back into that, I should have worked my way forward from that. But, oh well. That's how we learn. So, catch you later.